is it okay to fart? They're definitely okay to do when you're on your own. You can't feel guilty about doing a fart when you're by yourself, unless it's really bad. So you let one rip and your cat starts dry heaving. Anyway, farting when you're by yourself is basically fine. So then why is it so offensive to fart around other people? Just to be clear, I'm not making the case that we should all be walking around huffing farts and sniffing each other's asses like dogs or people from San Francisco. I find other people's farts revolting. I have a group of friends that I hang out with regularly and they fart a lot. They all think it's hilarious. I think this is probably due to some unchecked mental hurdles. I don't find the farts funny. It doesn't matter how loud it is or how perfect the timing is. Everyone else can be laughing hysterically. I'll be staring at the perpetrator with fucking murder behind my eyes, thinking to myself, where did I go wrong? What did I do to deserve these invalids as my friends? Maybe I was Adam Sandler in a past life. Yeah, sorry, what do you mean past lives? You're literally alive at the same time. Shut the fuck. I think that my personal level of disdain for farts comes from one particular borderline traumatic event that I went through and survived when I was about 14. It was a warm evening during the summer holiday of 2015. Me and two mates, Harry and Angus, were relaxing at my house. I'm using their real names here because I don't care if they get embarrassed by this story. They should feel embarrassed. If by exposing their crimes I cause them to, say, lose their jobs and become homeless, I'll still be able to sleep at night. Speaking up, telling my truth. Anyway, the three of us are sat in my bedroom talking and drinking some definitely legally required Budweiser, having a lovely evening until Harry decided it'd be really funny to almost shit himself. I was irritated. I said, hey, don't do that. The two of them chuckled and we continued talking. A few minutes later, Angus's bum interrupted our chat. He let out a fart even more pungent than Harry's. They both burst out into hysterical laughter. And then a few minutes after this, Harry farts again, then Angus farts again, Harry farts again, Angus farts again, and this continues until the two are engaged in a game of what I'm going to call poo particle ping pong. Their disgusting game continued until my room became uninhabitable to any normal human being. I remember how the air in the room felt thick, like a sauna. Sick of them and their farts, I evacuated the scene. I stumbled into the living room and found refuge on the sofa. I sat down and began to digest the awful experience my so-called friends had just put me through. Why would they do this to me? What kind of a sick mind must you have to be that comfortable sitting in a stew of your own poo particles? Understandably, I was upset, but after a while, I started to relax. I turned on the TV, but before about 10 minutes passed, I heard footsteps in the kitchen and a faint, evil chuckling. The two demons entered the room. I froze in fear. I made eye contact with Angus and a few seconds of silence passed. Then a soft came from their corner of the room. By this point, I'd resigned to the fact that there was no escaping them. They were going to follow me to whichever room I tried to hide in, so I may as well accept it. I drifted into a tormented sleep. My therapist thinks I might have PPPD. It's post-traumatic piss disease. And it's not funny, so... Why then are some farts funny, but some farts disgusting? Well, it's a topic that's close to my heart, and so a few days ago I set out to find an answer to this age-old question, and after hours and hours of serious science, I've come to a conclusion. So the first question I had to ask myself was this: what actually is a fart? Here's the Google definition. Farting is the expulsion of intestinal gases from the intestines via the anus. I, however, would define a fart slightly differently. I believe that a fart can be broken down into two tangible products: the noise of the fart and the smell of the fart. From this, we can arrive at the equation noise plus smell equals fart. Now let's take a closer look at the variables noise and smell. First, noise. Noise is what I believe to be what is humorous about a fart. There's the suggestion of something disgusting without any of the actual consequences. Secondly, there's the smell. The smell is the disgusting part of the fart. It's literally tiny little pieces of poo clinging to your tongue and your sinuses. If you don't think that's disgusting, you should be removed from the gene pool, in my professional opinion. So, the noise is funny, it's the positive part of the fart, and thus should be attributed a positive value. The smell is disgusting, it's the negative part of the fart, and thus should be attributed a negative value. If we score the noise and the smell of any given fart, noise to be scored from 0 to 100, 0 representing no noise at all, and 100 representing earth-shattering, glass-breaking levels of volume. Smell to be scored from 0 to minus 100, 0 representing no smell at all, and minus 100 representing the kind of room-clearing, air-thickening, possibly carcinogenic farts my bitch ex-girlfriend used to release after eating anything containing cheese. Hi, Carol. So, if we score the variables and then combine those values, we'll end up with the total value of any given fart. The higher the total score, the funnier the fart. The lower the total score, the more disgusting the fart. I'm going to read my script for this bit because there's numbers involved and I can't be expected to remember those. Let's take a look at the classic example of the silent but deadly fart. There's little or no noise. Say a score of 2 on the noise scale, but a foul smell. Minus 45 on the smell scale. The total fart value would be minus 43. Objectively disgusting and definitely not very funny. Then looking at the equally famous loud and proud variety of fart, a score of say 56 on the noise scale, but a score of only minus 13 on the smell scale would result in a total fart value of 43. This would be an example of a funny, harmless and thus slightly more socially acceptable kind of fart. I'm coining this thesis the Matthews model for measuring malodorous musk, or TMFM for short. I'm not expecting a Nobel Prize, but... Now, a few years ago, I took a law course and I dropped out after a few months, but my teacher did call me clever a few times. So I think this basically makes me pretty much qualified to start creating new laws. If you disagree with me, the UK Parliament passed a law a few years ago that means I need to now show ID at Starbucks if I want to buy a coffee. So clearly, the barrier to entry is pretty fucking low. I'd like to present to you a law that's finally going to put bum criminals like Harry and Angus behind bars where they belong. Behold. The Anal Assault Act 2023. Part 1. Main provisions and forbidden locations. This act dictates the guidelines that all UK citizens should refer to when breaking wind. It covers policy referring to the severity of a given person's gas expulsion and the specific situations in which a person may be prosecuted in a court of law for breaching the aforementioned guidelines. Firstly, let it be known that a person is free to expel any degree of flatulence within the walls of their own home, for that is a God-given right that this act does not wish to infringe on. However, if a person willingly and knowingly flatulates within any of the situations mentioned below, with intent to disturb or upset any other persons, that flatulator shall be liable to prosecution in the Crown Court. The forbidden fart locations are as follows. On public transport, including planes, trains and buses. In public buildings, including workplaces, coffee shops, restaurants, pubs, cinemas, supermarkets and any other building inhabited by multiple persons. Finally, on another person's private premises. For example, your mate's house if he's invited you round to have a nice time. Part 2. Interpretation and punishments. Farts scoring 0 to minus 30 on the Matthews model for measuring malodorous musk, when committed in any of the aforementioned locations, may be punished by unlimited community service and a fine of up to £500. Farts scoring at minus 30 and lower on the Matthews model for measuring malodorous musk, when committed in any of the aforementioned locations, may be punished with an unlimited fine and up to 6 years imprisonment per individual fart. This act comes into enforcement with immediate effect. I've sent a copy of this new proposed legislation to whoever the current Prime Minister of the United Kingdom is. I don't know. Do you know? Anyway, I'm expecting implementation by the end of the month. Now, I'm speaking directly to Harry and Angus. Your days are numbered. You'll pay for what you've done to me. Right. That was Poo Particle Ping Pong. I'm not entirely sure how to feel about that project. I think it turned out okay. Turned out all right. Obviously, nothing ever turns out exactly as you envision in your head. So, some of it, I don't know. Some of it feels a little bit cringe to me, but I think maybe I'm just too close to it at this point. You know, I need fresh eyes. I can't see it as in the same way that other people see it. I don't know. Maybe it's cringe. I thought some of it was worthwhile. How long do you think that took me to make? 3 days? A week? Reasonable guesses. 5 months! 5 months! Although it wasn't just because I was like slaving away making sure every single detail was completely perfect. It was like, I don't know why it took me so long. I think it's probably around
10 or 15 hours of work over 5 months it took me to make that video. Just due to some like weird subconscious blocks in my mind, you know. What I mean when I say blocks? Anyway, it's done now though. Yeah, I'm going to upload it. Yeah. My next video should be out within... I genuinely think the next one will be out within 3 weeks. I'm going to fucking like get to it and it won't take 5 months. There's no way it'll take 5 months. Jesus Christ. Imagine if in a year I've released two... Well, no, within a year I've released 2 videos. I'll just be... Okay, no, a couple of weeks it'll take me. Next one. See you then. Bye.
Man them, like and subscribe, yeah? Safe.